Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40k Universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today, we continue with the Imperium as we talk about the Inquisition. So let's get into 40 Facts About the Inquisition. The Inquisition, or the Holy Order of the Emperor's Inquisition, is a secret organization that exists outside the standard administrative hierarchy of the Imperium of Man. The Inquisition acts as the secret police force of the Imperium, hunting down any and all of the threats to the stability of the God Emperor's realm. The Inquisition's infamous sigil was derived from the personal heraldry of Malcador the Sigillite, the regent of Terra during the Great Crusade and the Horus Heresy, and the second most powerful psyker in the Imperium of Man after the Emperor of Mankind himself. In the modern 41st millennium, the Inquisition is the most powerful organization of the Imperium's many branches. Its agents, the Inquisitors, command fear and respect in equal measure. They are creatures of myth, as much of flesh and blood, relentless beings who descend to pass judgment upon the mutants, the traitors, and the heretics. It is rare a citizen who does not dread drawing the Inquisition's steel gaze, who does not experience the stark terror in his or her presence. Every imperial citizen, from the poorest of the underhive scum to the highest and wealthiest of nobles, has heard of the tales of death and destruction, of all-seeing eyes that condemn or absolve with impunity. Inquisitors are as varied in appearance and manner as the variety of threats they face. They range in age from fiery young zealots to hoary old veterans who have fought in the darkness for centuries. Some wear robes and symbols of their allegiance, while others shun trappings of status. Inquisitors commonly carry a wide range of weapons and war gear, so as to be prepared for any threat they might face. Some Inquisitors use outlandish weaponry, taken from defeated foes, exotic hardware, alien guns, and demon-possessed weapons. It should come as no surprise that the Inquisition's past is shrouded in secrecy. Even the Inquisitors themselves have only the haziest of understanding as to how their organization was founded, and must rely on hundreds of contradictory legends for guidance. There is a branch of the Inquisition itself, the Ordo Originatus, dedicated to unraveling 10 millennia of myths and lies. This is a difficult task, raised to impossibility due to the opposing works of the Ordo Redactus, who focus their own efforts into deliberately obscuring the past, lest the enemies of mankind discover some advantage through knowledge of the Inquisition's beginnings. What almost all the legends agree on is that the Inquisition is widely believed to have been formed by Malcador the Sigillite, by the order of the Emperor of Mankind, during the final days of the Horus Heresy. As the story goes, Malcador, the regent of Terra, was charged by the Emperor immediately after news had reached Terra of War Master Horus's betrayal during the massacre of Isfahan III, to gather a group of dedicated imperial servants whose loyalty, courage, and strength was unquestionable. Malcador initially chose 12 people of inquisitive nature, 8 loyal Astartes, and 4 mortal imperial lords and administrators, who would respectively become the initial core of the Grey Knights and the conclaves of the Inquisition. They were presented by Malcador to the Emperor at the Imperial Palace after being brought secretly through enemy lines during the Battle of Terra, the final campaign of the heresy. These were individuals of unblemished loyalty, determination, and strength of mind, who would serve the Emperor well in the years to come. The foundations of the Inquisition were created from the 4 mortal lords and administrators of the Imperium chosen by Malcador, while the Grey Knights, the first and most effective of the Inquisition's chamber militants, were forged into 8 loyalist Astartes. Though it is widely known across the galaxy that the Inquisition exists, its deeds are all but impossible to trace. Records are sealed, restricted, or simply destroyed. Witnesses are silenced, suffer telepathic mind swipe, or are slain outright. Many imperial scholars believe that the Inquisition played a pivotal role in such monumental events as the Second Founding, the beheading, and the fall of Nova Terra. There are gaps in official records that indicate whole branches of the Adeptus Terra have been put to the sword in the past, and who but the Inquisition have the authority to do so, let alone disguise the act thereafter. Most who seek the Inquisition's past go a lifetime without proof, and those that do uncover evidence have a tendency to disappear. Some attract an Inquisitor's attention, their skills deemed suitable for advancing the Inquisition's goals. Most simply perish, their lifeless bodies later discovered in situations so damning as to call their character into question. The Inquisition watch over the Imperium. They do not care to be watched in return. It is generally accepted that the Inquisition only solidified into its truly modern form sometime in the 32nd millennium, after the formal birth of the imperial cult as the state religion of the Imperium, some 800 years after the end of the Horus Heresy. Although its essential components and apparatuses were active in the Imperium during the Great Crusade before the heresy began, i.e. the Black Ships, the Witch Hunters, the Sisters of Silence. The idea of restoring the Emperor to the Imperium in mortal form is at the heart of the Inquisition's formation. 4 individuals, trusted servants of the Emperor during the building of their galactic empire, gathered together to discuss what was to happen after the Emperor's entombment onto the Golden Throne. They were divided in opinion, with 2 believing that the fleeting Imperium could not survive without the Emperor to directly lead humanity, while the other 2 were adamant that the Emperor had ascended to a higher plane and that it was foolish to interfere with the course of events that had unfolded. The 2 resurrectionists known as Prometheus and Morania left Terra to begin their quest of bringing back the Emperor, while the other 2 that remained acted quickly to establish themselves with the newly formed Senatorum Imperialis. Known to the Primarchs as loyal servants, these 2 began to lay the plans for the formation of an organization that would combat the efforts of the 2 who left. Thus were the seeds of the Inquisition itself sown. With the backing of the Primarchs, the 2 first Inquisitors made themselves known to the High Lords and began to recruit like-minded individuals from amongst the adepts and warriors on Terra. Their dream of an organization dedicated to the protection of the Emperor would not be realized in their lifetime, even extended as they were by arcane technologies, and the Inquisition, as it is seen today, did not fully come into existence until the 32nd millennia. Prometheus and Morania were not idle during this time, and in the wake of the news of the Emperor's ascension, gathered together a following of their own, particularly amongst those cults and sects that were now appearing on many worlds, claiming the deification of the Emperor. At some point, Morania and Prometheus split, their goals still the same, but Morania determined to use whatever means necessary to achieve her aim. Fearful that Morania would unleash unspeakable powers of chaos to achieve her goal, Prometheus created a small army of dedicated followers to combat the menace he believed she possessed. These 2 factions clashed many times until Prometheus' disciples prevailed and Morania disappeared, probably into the Eye of Terror. As the Inquisition grew and its presence was felt further and further from Terra, it came into contact with Prometheans. Several hundred years had passed since the fateful first conclaves, and even then the Inquisition, ever a confederacy of individuals rather than a single body, was pursuing several different agendas. The original intent to prevent the reincarnation of the Emperor had been diluted over the centuries, and when the Prometheans were discovered fighting against chaos, they were brought into the fold. Neither the Inquisitors that had contacted the sect, nor the Prometheans themselves were aware of the irony of their cooperation, and thus the first Resurrectionist Inquisition faction was created. As the Inquisition possessed neither formal hierarchy nor leadership, each Inquisitor is free to pursue the mission of humanity's survival in a manner he or she believes most appropriate. Like-minded fellows gathered together to investigate areas of mutual interest or concern, as bound by one of the many inquisitorial ordos. Each ordo waxes and wanes with time, for many Inquisitors move freely between them according to where they judge the need to lie. The greater the level of demonic activity, the larger the Ordo Malleus becomes. In time of heresy, the Ordo Heroclix grows to match the threat. As an Inquisitor grows more accomplished and learns, he garners esteem, and by command consent is graced with the title as Grandmaster. These are marks of respect rather than unconditional authority. Other Inquisitors may defer to the colleague's experience and reputation, but they are not by no means required to do so. An Ordo can lie idle for years, existing only as a historical curiosity until its fields of study become relevant once more. The Ordos dedicated to combating the bigger threats that face the Imperium are considered Ordo Majoris. There are many scores of Ordos Minoris as well, lesser branches dedicated to more transient dangers. Association with one of the inquisitorial Ordos is not a matter of absolute allegiance, for they are no more structured than the Inquisition itself, nor does it prelude an inquisitorial involvement in matters pertaining to another Ordo. And those were 40 facts about the Inquisition. As you can see, we're leading up to the different Ordos. So part 2, we're going to talk about the different Ordos of the Inquisition. So please subscribe to the channel to get that. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for liking, commenting, and sharing. By liking, you're telling YouTube that you want to see Warhammer 40k content. So I should say thank you for contributing to this awesome YouTube society of Warhammer 40k lovers. Thank you, you are awesome. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate, signing out.